Everyone. Let me get started with notation. Notations in automata and languages that you will be using from now on. First, let me define the language. So, language, if I say, is consists of symbols and formal rules. Formal means it is forming strings of symbols. And if I take the formal definition as given by Noam Chomsky, it is a language is a collection of sentences of finite length. They are all constructed from a finite alphabet of symbols. So that is what a language is, and a grammar can be regarded as a device that enumerates the sentence of a language. So enumerating a sentence of language means you are listing out the rules that will help you write down the words in a particular language, the sentences in a particular language. If I talk about alphabet, in English you have an alphabet which has 26 input symbols or letters. So in this theory of computation, we will be talking about alphabet, which will be represented as sigma, the Greek letter sigma, and it is a set of input symbols. So in this case, your input symbols are 0 and 1 only. Here your input symbols are A, B and C. So this set is finite, and this set is generally not empty. So this is a non-empty set of symbols. So we will be first defining the language over an alphabet. So what input symbols this particular language will have to form the words of that language, and it will be given by sigma. So whatever you write in this particular set will be the input symbols to form the words of that language. Now strings are formed by concatenating the finite number of symbols in the alphabet. So if your alphabet is A, B, C, you can have the string as simply as A. It could be simply B. It could be simply C. It could be AB. It could be AC. It could be um, A, B, B. So any combination of input symbols is a string. So like in this language over 0 and 1, we have defined certain strings. It could be any combination of strings provided that input symbol is in your alphabet. So string is a finite sequence. See, this length is finite, and finite sequence of what? The symbols chosen from your set. So you can always choose only the 0. You may not choose 1. You may choose only 1. You may not choose 0. You may choose both 0 and 1 to form your strings. So whatever symbols that you are using, they should be a part of this alphabet. Now there is a special string which is called a null string. Null string has length 0, that is there are no letters in the null string, and it is represented by special character caret. And suppose you have string over ABC or string over 0 1. Now let me define a language. So L equals to xn, where n is 1 to 3. So the language now becomes concatenation of strings 0, only one length, 0 0, 3 zeros, 4 0 and so on. But null is not a part of this language because the length is 0, and my language clearly states that my n should be greater than equal to 1. So null here is not a word in the language. Now if I say that n equals to 0, then I have also all possible combination of zeros starting from 1 to 3, and I also introduce a special word null or special which has no length because n could be 0. So you see these two languages are different. So now null is a part of the language L, or it is a word in L. Generally in sigma, in your alphabet, we generally don't allow null. So you can have sigma equals to 0 1 0 1 2 3 4 whatever, but we generally avoid null to be the part of sigma. But in some special cases you may have null, but we avoid generally. Now words. So we have now only till now we have talked about only the strings. So strings are any possible combinations of input letters which are defined over an alphabet. But words are those strings which are a part of a language. Strings can be any random combination of input symbols. But words will follow a particular set of rules to become a part of language. So words are those strings which follow the set of rules to become a part of language. Let me take this example again. You have alphabet sigma. You have a rule which says that you have any possible combinations of input symbols in your alphabet, but that should start with one, length 1 at least. So the possible words are 0 0 0 0 0, but null could be null is a string which is basically 0 of 0, x of 0, that is no length. So this could be a string, but this is not a word in this language. Why? Because it is not satisfying this condition n greater than equal to 1. So null is a string which is of no letters, but for this particular language it is not a word. Why? Because it is not satisfying the rules of this language. So words are strings over alphabet sigma that belong to some language L and follow the rules of that language. Then only they can form the part of this set. So if I talk about words, two words are considered same if their symbols are in the same order. So AB and AB are same. But if you say ABBA, till here it was same, and in the last the positions of A and B got changed. So these two words may be a part of a language, but these are not same words. It's just something like, if you have a word in English which is cat, and then you have another word which is cab. So these are the words in the language English, but they are not the same words. Now I will talk about a special language which is your empty language. Empty language is the language that has no words. So it is basically, if I say that L is a language or a set which is empty, it does not even have a null. Null is also not a word. Null is also not there in this language. Why? Because null is a special string of length 0, but it is a string. This has length 0. But when I am talking about an empty language phi, it does not contain any string. So empty language phi has no words, not even null. Now coming more formally to the languages consist of rules and procedure which will help you test if a string of alphabet letters or string of input symbols is a valid word or not. So this is a membership problem. For example, in this particular language where it is defined over 0, if I say, can you tell me whether 0 0 0 0 is a part of this language, then I say, okay, let me check the rules. The rules say that n could be greater than or equal to 1. So okay, let me see. If I have n equals to 1, I can have a word with 0 length or 1 length, then 2 length, 3 length, 4 length. Yes, this is satisfying this rule. So yes, this string is the word in the language. But what about null? Is null a part of this language? No. Why? Because it is not satisfying this rule. So null is not a member of this language. So languages have to be defined such that there is a clear way of constructing the word, how you are going to form a word in that language, and there is a clear way to test the membership, whether a word is a part of the language or not. Now let me take some more examples. So here is an alphabet which is defined over A, and L is the string of odd length. Now using this definition, let me check the membership. Is null a part of this language? No. Why? Because it is not of odd length. This is of length 0. 0 is not odd. Is A a part of this language? Yes, this is A. This is a part of this language, null is not. What about AA? Is it a part of this language? No. Why? Because this is not odd length. What about triple A? It is, because this is of odd length. So this definition is telling me how I can construct the word of this language is language L. Plus it is also telling me whether given a particular word, let's say a a a. Now if somebody asks you a question whether this is a part of this language, so you can test the membership using this definition also. Now strings of length 2. So if I say 0 is a part of this language, yes or no? No, because this is of length 1, so this is not a part of the language. Okay, is 2 a part of this language? Yes, because it is of length 2. And what about 2, 1, 3? No. Why? Because it is not of length 2, it is more than that. So this is not a part of language. So it is clearly telling you how to construct the words of this language and how to test the membership. Now let me talk about a special language which is equal over A and B. You could have 0, 1, you could have CC, but A, B, C, you could have any symbol over here, but here we are taking the alphabet to be A and B. So if I say, let's talk about, if I say A, is it a part of this language? No, because you don't have any B's. We are clearly saying that the number of A's should be equal to number of B's. But what about this? A, B. Is it a part of this language? Yes, it is. Why? Because number of A's equal to number of B's equal to 1. And what about this? A, B, B, A, A. Is this a part of this language? Let's see. 1, 2, 3 A's and 2 B's. So this is not a part of the language. But if I do this, this is a part of the language. Why? Because we have equal number of B's and equal number of A's equals to B's, which is 3. So ordering is not important because we are not talking about any order here. We are just saying that it should have equal number of A's and B's. Okay, now let me ask you, is this the part of language null? Can you think? If your answer is no, please rethink. The answer should be yes. Why? Because we are saying string with number of A's equal to number of B's. So this is of length 0. Null is a string of length 0. Null is a string of length 0. That means there are no A's and no B's. That is 0 number of A's and 0 number of B's. So null is a part of equal. Now let me talk about another language which is even. So string with even number of A's and even number of B's. So again null will form a part of this language. Why? 0 A's and 0 B's, and we know that 0 is even. And what about AB? Will AB be a part of this language even? No, because we want even number of A's and even number of B's. What about this word A, B, B, A, A, B? There are 3 A's and 3 B's, but they are not even. So, no. But if I say A, B, A, B, this is the part of this language. Why? Because you have even number of A's and even number of B's. Similarly, if I say A, B, B, this is also a part of the language. Why? Because you have 2 A's and 2 B's, which is even. So if I take another example, let's say if I say A, B, B, and A. Is this a part of the language even? No or yes? This is the part of language even. Why? Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 A's, which is even, and you have 2 B's. This is also even. We are not talking about equality here. We are saying that number of A's and number of B's should be even. Okay, and what if I say BB? B is also a part of this language. Why? Because you have two A's and two B's and zero A's. Zero A's means because number of A's is zero, zero is an even number. So this is also a part of the language. So you have to be very careful while constructing or deciding the membership. You have to see the rules very carefully. Now I think this one should be very simple, that language over ABC which does not start with an A. So anything that starts with an A will not be a part of this language, everything else will be. So you could have a word B, you could have a word C, but not a word A. You could never have a word A, B, or ABC in this language because it starts with an A. But any combination of B's or C followed by any input symbols will be a part of this language. Can you say that null is a part of this language? I think you need to give this a thought. Now I will talk about union. See, we are using sets here in this theory of automata. So most of the set theory things will be applicable, most of them. So union is one such operation which is mostly denoted by plus. So if I say that there is a language which is defined over 0 input symbol, n equals to 1 2 3, you have these words which have at least one length. So these are the words. But if I say L plus set with a letter with a word null, which is length 0 word. So if I combine these two, so the union will include null word. But are these two languages same? No, because this language says that I cannot have a length word of length 0, but here I have included 0, so this becomes a different language. So union may result in a different language. So in this case you are adding this element, the elements of these two sets and making a new set. So all these elements combined will make a new set, and this is not the same as L. But L plus 5, that is the empty language, is same as L. Why? Because empty language is an empty set. Nothing is there inside the empty set, not even null. So it will always result in back to this set. So L plus 5 will be same as L. Now we have already done a lot of concatenations, but let me talk about concatenation. It is just two strings placed one after another. Let me have one string which is 0 0, let me name it as X, another string Y which is 4 zeros, I am naming it as Y. So XY is a concatenation of these two strings, but ordering is important. So XY becomes 2 zeros followed by 4 zeros. Here the input symbol was same, so obviously XY will be equal to YX. But if you consider these two strings AA, BB and AB, the concatenation will become this. But if you concatenate in the reverse, so if you concatenate AB with AA, BB, then it becomes a different word altogether. So the concatenation, in concatenation your ordering of strings is very important. So XY generally is not equal to YX. So if you talk about length, we have already talked about length of word or string null, which is 0. Otherwise the length is a number of symbols in a particular string. So if you see, the length is 4 and generally represented by mod of the word A. So if I represent this string or this word as A, so mod of A is 4. So if there is a null word, then the length of that is 0. Now let's take an example, L6. Any finite string of alphabet letters that does not start with the letter 0. So you have alphabet over this. Language says that it should not start with 0. Typically a decimal number in a decimal number system. So if b equals to 4 to 8, then the length is 1 2 3. So the length is 3. If d equals to 5, the length is only 1. So this is the length or mod of the of a particular string or the word in this case. Now reverse means that if there is a word which is in some language L, reverse is the word spelled backwards. That is, you're just reversing the order. So reverse, if the letters are same, that is, it is defined over XXX or 000, then you will end up with the same word. But other generally reverse is not same. Like in this example over L6, 145 is equal to 541. The reverse of 145 equals to 541, and this is the word again in the language L6 because finite string of alphabet letters that do not start with letter 0. But reverse of 140 is 041. This is fine, but this is not a part of language L6 because we said that it should not start with letter 0. So reverse may or may not lead to a word back in the same language. So this, if you are reversing 145, you are getting the word which is again a part of the language that you had defined, but reverse of this number will not result in the word which was a part of this language. Now there's a special language palindrome. I'm sure you know palindromes in English. So it is basically something which the reverse of x is equal to x. There is a string, reverse of the string or results in back in the same string. So these are the examples of palindrome. If you define over alphabet A and B, null is a palindrome because there is no word. Single length words are palindromes. Double letters are palindrome, triples are also palindromes, 4 letters, 5 letters are palindromes, but otherwise you will have for odd length, you will have to be surrounded by same letters A, B, A. So if you reverse this, you will get back A, B, A. And similarly for even length, you will have this concatenated by reverse of this. So this is a palindrome. So two words in a palindrome when concatenated may result a word in a palindrome. Just see. So if I have, let's say, A, and if I have, let's say, another word AA. So if I concatenate these two, so this becomes A, which is a word in palindrome. But what if I combine these two words BAB and BBB? Then they do not result in a palindrome. So more often concatenation is not a word in palindrome, but sometimes it may result, but generally it doesn't. The material has been taken from Daniel Cohen's book Introduction to Computer Theory, 2nd edition. For the next lecture, I will be talking about clean closure and positive closure. If you have any doubts about the notations that we will be using in automata theory, you can for sure write to me in comments. You can like this channel, share it with your friends, and subscribe this channel to keep learning. Thank you.